Matt Meehan here for IrishBoxing.com. Mr. J Byrne, April 12th, the National Stadium. What a show you have planned. News broke this afternoon that a big broadcaster will be, obviously, will be witches. Just first off, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Thanks very much.
Let's go through the cards. Senan Kelly, Declan Gowdy, main event, BUI, Irish welterweight title. What a way to kick off the. Let's go from main event downwards. Just a bit more into this fight from your view.
Yeah, it's a fight that's supposed to have happened twice before. Both times quite unlucky. Both lads, both this time it's ready. It's happening. Both of them stood on the scales this morning. Both of them are in great condition. Both of them are only less than 2 kilos off weight with a week to go. So yeah, it's a good fight. It's a 50-50 fight. Very hard to call the winner, let's be honest.
Peter Kerr, Daniel Sullivan, both men undefeated at the moment, 3-0 and 5-0. Someone's all has to go April 12th. A brilliant crack of a co-main event.
I think that fight could steal the show. I think
Yeah.
that's the night. I think that's the fight. Everyone I speak to is saying the same thing. It's a serious fight. Two really good guys, two really nice men. Good, different kind of people. But both of them like the fight, and Daniel doesn't take a back step. Peter doesn't know how to take a back step. So I think the two of them are going to stand in the middle of the ring, and it should be a war. And look, that's what we need. For a broadcaster, we need one moment, maybe two moments throughout the whole night that captures eyes, because that's all broadcasters want. They want eyes, and we need eyes. And this fight, to me, brings eyes because I think this is going to be a big fight. I think it's a serious fight. I think they're most definitely a big chance of a knockout on the cards. If not, you're going to have two lads standing in the middle of the ring killing each other, and that's, again, going to bring eyes, and that's what we're looking for.
What took to get this fight made? Because Daniel Sullivan coming off a win, Peter Kerr obviously coming off a win. Daniel Sullivan in a great fight the last time against Sean Murray. How was it hard to make this fight at all, Jay?
No, not hard at all.
It's two rounds just said yes.
No, it was Peter to fight Paul Ryan.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
At the time, Peter was fighting Paul Ryan. It was agreed, both ends. We'd agreed it. And then Paul got a better offer, a life-changing opportunity for the WBC youth that competition. And I just said, look, Paul, best wishes. I really hope it works out for you. And that was it. And at the same time, Pascal was trying to get Daniel and Craig on the card, but the card was just filling up so fast. I just threw the opportunity across and said, look, I don't know if he's interested, but here's a chance. And Daniel being Daniel, again, a real fighting man, a real boxer, a J. Byrne boxer, a boxer that wants to fight, and he said straight away, yeah, no problem. Again, negotiations with Pascal and his team over the last 6 months or so have been so pleasant. There's never issues, we treat everybody fair, and I think they see that, and there's never any differences. We meet, and that's it, deal done, and there was no issues. Peter, again, he'll fight anybody. So Sean Murray will fight anybody. We have lads that will fight anybody, and that makes these cards a lot better and a lot easier to make.
Yeah, no, I get you, but just in terms of you said discussion of the last 6 months, how long did it take to actually get this kind of a magnitude, let's say, of a card to actually get sorted and signed off and everything from start to finish?
15 months from day one, because I sat at the first press conference and I said on day one that at the minute we don't have a domestic scene in Ireland, and that's why Irish boxing is on its knees, and it was on its knees because we hadn't had a proper show in ages. RDS was just falling through, and I sat at the first press conference and I said I believe in 12 to 18 months we'll have built up the fighters regularly with regular shows that they'll be able to go together, like the way we have the Matchroom shows and the Queensbury shows, where you have British title fights, Commonwealth title fights, area title fights, and you have 4 or 5 fights on the top of a card that are great fights. Then once they get through that level, then it's European level, it's world level. And I stated 15 months ago that was my plan and that was my goal. I seen that happen. And now you look at all the fights in the card. Let's go. Like Senan Kelly's career was slow burn, wasn't really moving. Declan Geraghty was having his last fight before he retired 15 months ago. Their careers have been rejuvenated, and both of them are now fighting for an Irish title. Senan obviously holds it. He's already fought for one, but that's what he's done. The next fight, you're talking about Peter and Daniel. Daniel wasn't actively fighting. Look at him now. Since then, he's now won a Celtic title. He's now fighting for another Celtic title. Peter wasn't even a professional boxer at the time, but because of the activity we gave him, he's now going into a title fight. You drop down the card to Paul Loon and Miles Casey. Neither one of them are professional boxers. When I sat at that press conference and said, now the both of them are fighting for a professional title. Glenn Byrne and Charlie Lopez. Glenn Byrne was only making his professional debut that day. He's now 5-0, aiming to go 6-0 against a 7-1 fighter. He's not going in against some dummy. He's going in against a guy that's 7-1 that's coming to win. You know, so that's the card we've built. On the card the fight underneath that, Sean Murray and Richie O'Leary, both of them were not professional fighters. Now the both of them are fighting. Sean's already been in a Celtic title fight. He wants to get back to that level. So I said, well, Sean, the quickest way to do that is by going into a domestic and winning a domestic, because you're putting yourself in the window then for the next show to be fighting for the Celtic title. Richie wants to step up. He wants to fight for titles. And if he beats Sean, I believe the winner of this fight will, in their next fight for a title. So again, it's what I said 15 months ago. It's about having belief. And a lot of fighters have belief in me. A lot of fighters signed for me and believed in my goals and what I said and came on board. And now they're all starting to see it. But you got to remember, man, it's not just about they're now fighting for titles. They're now earning, because we're not pumping the money into journeymen and flights and accommodation. Also, they're actually making some money now. Some of the lads aren't making lots of money because they don't sell massive tickets. But the problem was they could barely sell enough tickets to cover the cost of journeymen and things. Now they're in 50-50s where their money is, they're getting paid. Like, there's lads on all the top half of that card, you know, we're getting paid purses.
Yeah. So
it's not all based on ticket sales.
Which is great to see.
The rest of the card, it is. And the rest of the card, the underneath of the card, which is stacked.
Yeah.
But all of them boys need to be looking up at the top of the end of the card and going, that's where I want to be. I want to be selling tickets so the money goes in my pocket. You know, and going for titles. And look, at the end of the day, you go in and beat a journeyman. Yes, we all have to learn, we all have to build. But when you get to a certain level, you know, beating a journeyman isn't going to be any better for you than losing in a very close domestic fight.
Yeah.
You know, look at Sean Murray, for instance. He earned on his Celtic title fight. He didn't win it, but there he is now going into another 50-50, where on this show, again, he's getting a purse, and if he wins this, he's back into a title fight.
Absolute banger of scrap that was last time as well for Sean Murray against Daniel Sullivan. Absolute barnstormer.
Yeah, but that's what domestic fights bring. Domestic fights bring that, and having a broadcaster, again, we only need a couple of moments on this card, and I believe that this is the start of big time boxing back in Ireland.
When you sat in the warehouse 15 months ago, around, I think it was September, October, November, or just around that date, did you solely believe, did you solely see the National Stadium in your eyes 15 months down the road from then?
Yeah, asked the people closest to me. I told them year 2, I wanted to go to the National Stadium. By the end of year 2, I wanted to fill the National Stadium. And in year 3, by the end of year 3, I wanted to be in the Tree Arena. Everything we've said is done. Year 1 was fill the warehouse. Year 2 was fill the National Stadium. Year 3 is to get to the Tree Arena. And we filled the warehouse on 3 occasions. Not a massive venue, but you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And we're about 40-50 tickets away from filling the National Stadium, which hasn't been done in 10 years, I can tell you that.
Wow. So 40-50 tickets off, and April 12th, do you reckon it will be sold out, those 40-50 tickets? Just the people watching? It will be sold out.
It will be sold out. It will be sold out.
How?
And I told you, so I did tell everybody in the meeting, I did tell everyone in the press conferences, I wouldn't go to the National Stadium with 800 or 900 or 1,000, because I don't want to see loads of empty red seats. I think it's echoey. I don't think it looks good. I think it's, you know, people say, it's like a graveyard in that stadium. It's not. Now, the other thing about the stadium is, for years, the shows that have been on there, you had to go into the ringside to have a beer. So what happens is a lot of people come, they go watch their mate, and they run into the bar. Well, we've changed that. There will be now, your plastic glasses will be allowed to come to the seats. So people will be able to go get a beer like they can in the Tree Arena, like they can over in the UK and the big shows, buy a beer, go out to their seat and sit and watch boxing. Because a lot of the time what happens is people come to watch you fight, and until your fight is on, they're in the bar. Then when your fight's on, they're out in the seats. But then when your fight's over, they go back to the bar. So now people can sit and enjoy the boxing, have a point, enjoy it. And again, as I said, it's our job to make sure they're entertained for the night.
Mm. How long was it to get the likes of the Queensbury lads on the show, and how did that work out, Jay?
Yeah, just again, they're two Irish lads. They're promoted by Queensbury. There's connections, between Queensbury. We all have connections. We all know people in the different companies, and
Mm.
Queensbury wanted to get the lads out, get them active
Mm.
in Ireland. Where better? So they reached out, and no problems. The card was full at the time, but we'll always try help people, and that's what we do. We always keep our cards at like kind of 9 or 10 because it's the warehouse. We went to the stadium. We said we do 12, 13 max.
Yeah.
And when the two lads, the opportunity came on for the two lads, we said, look, at 15 was the max we could do. So we done 15. So no problems. The two really good lads. They're really nice. They're good. They're very cooperative. I've been in touch with them. I treat them like, as I say, my own. That once you come on board on one of our cards, I treat you like you're my fighter from the day one to the finish of the show. Give you the same treatment, whether it be promo videos, whether we come to meet you to give you tickets, anything. Whether you need me to help you with anything. They know that, but these lads are very polite, very good. They know some lads, with the big promoters, wouldn't be interested in being on a smaller show and their ways, blah, blah, blah. These two lads look really up for it, and I presume they are. They were great amateurs. They boxed their best years in the stadium. So, how good it does it feel for them to go back home,
I say it's nice for yourself as well to kind of go back the years in a way and be back in the stadium where you once fought, and now you're promoting.
Yeah, look, for me, I have a great night ahead of me because I'm very excited about the night because I feel I'm bringing something. I seen this coming. I seen it. I visualized this and I seen it coming. I knew it was coming, and I knew I could do it. I didn't think I'd do it this quick, but I knew I could do it. But for me, on the other side of the coin is I'm not just a promoter on the night. I'm also Glenn's coach.
Yeah.
And that's the same place where I won my Celtic title. And to think, 8 years later, he has the same opportunity that I had. But, being able to deliver that to him means a lot to me as well. So,
Yeah.
It'll be an emotional night, I'm sure, for me and for the family to see him, please God, get his hands raised and get him to lift that belt up the way I did all them years ago. Because for me, it was a dream come true. And I know for him, it's going to be the same. So, yeah, look, it's a massive week ahead for us, to be honest.
I say it's like it's a deeply personal moment, but I say that's one that will probably be the highlight of the night with seeing your younger brother, please God, hopefully lift that Celtic title.
Yeah, it'd be one of the proudest moments of my life anyway. Because again, I brought him from the start. I've been with him side by side. The whole way through this journey, and I've seen how hard he's worked. And I got one. He definitely should get one because he's better than I was. So, and he has all the same traits. He has the toughness. He has the heart. He has the work ethic. But he can box a lot better than I did. So he deserves it. And I believe he'll do it. I don't think there's anyone that will stand in his way that night. To be honest with you, I think he's a little hidden gem in Irish boxing. To be really honest with you, I don't just say that because he's my brother. I watch what he does in the gym. And I watch his sparring and his training, and when he makes mistakes, how he fixes them, and I think he'd be a little hidden gem there. And this is the first step of people seeing it. To be honest.
I'm just looking at Stephen Kearns here. He's unmatched. Is there any update at all about that, Jay, about who he'll be fighting?
Yes, yeah, he is. He's matched. He's boxing a very live opponent. I'll just get his name now. It's a Mexican. It's Francisco Javier Lucero, who is 16 wins, 8 losses, and 4 draws. So in 28 fights, he's only lost 8.
Okay, so he's coming to fight.
Very live opponent. Very live opponent. Well, listen, if you look at the undercard, you pick one of them fights that's going to be a stoppage, and I don't see how you could pick one.
Carl Curley against Jordan Granham, that'd be a very tough fight. Granham's a very tough lad.
Exactly, and for Oisin Tracy, a step up in Octavian Gratti.
Yeah. It's nice seeing the dream duo, Octavian Gratti and Jordan Granham, back again, the JB duo, as I like to call them.
Yeah, look, Dale was supposed to be on the card as well, Dale Arrowsmith, but he has a cut, so he couldn't be, and Jake Pollard was going to be on the card, only for we ended up not having an opponent for him, but we did originally. So I like to keep it in-house with the lads. The lads are good, they do great work, and I always tell the lads when they're coming, I'm not asking you to come and walk around the ring and fall over or anything like that. It's come and win. You're a boxer. I want you to come and perform, and I think we've seen that in the warehouse over the last few months. Some lads have been in trouble at times against these journeymen, had to dig deep, but it's only going to stand to them going forward in their career.
After the National Stadium, is there any plans that you have? Is it back to the warehouse? Is it up to Belfast? Or have you that planned yet?
We're in Belfast in June. To be honest with you, I'll be straightly honest. After the year we had last year, with zero profits and losses, we sat down. We said, let's look at this year as a year of growth, and the losses were investments. And then what happened in February with the 2 shows really hit us hard.
Yeah.
And the conversation had was, if April doesn't go to plan, we call it a day. Walk away from it, because it's the stress levels are like, you wouldn't believe the stress levels. And anyone who's been a promoting will tell you, like, sleepless nights, losing hair, and that's not even a figure of speech, losing hair, stress, you're causing rifts in the house because you're not in good form. You're putting a lot of time, a lot of hours, a lot of effort into sitting on laptops and on the phone. You're not putting any time into the family. The family get a bit pissed off at that end of things as well, and I don't blame them. And you get nothing in return for it. It becomes very tedious, And then what happened in February was out of our control about occasions, and financially hit us very hard, because it was very last minute when it happened. So at that stage, it was, we've April booked in to the stadium. Let's build a monster card. If that doesn't work, let's just call it a day and say, we tried. And yeah, we failed. But we're a week out.
He's doing well.
Everyone has paid their deposits, which usually means everybody is good. Everyone's fighting. Opponents' authorizations nearly all of them have arrived already. Any of the doubts I had regarding a couple of opponents, I was a little bit, will he make it through? Will he be all right? Blah, blah, blah. They all seem okay.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's just because it's a big card in the stadium and people are now willing to fight through little niggles, or people are willing to, go to the well, whereas maybe in the warehouse when it's a small show, you don't really care. I don't know, but this show to me looks like it's going to be a massive success, and that's, please God. Good dealings in the stadium, dealt with the people in the stadium. The BUI have been ever so helpful, being in touch with them. Everything's in order with them. Everything's in order with the stadium. We've done our last walks in the stadium. The last flights were just booked 20 minutes ago. Nice. For Cairns' opponent. They've been sent over to Butch, who deals with all our on-the-ground stuff on the week of the show. That's all in place. We went through all our ring attire last week. All is in place, in boxes ready to go to the stadium. We've double-checked with all our bookings to make sure everybody's booked in and there's no issues. Everyone is good. So it's boxing until the ring is in place and the bell goes. Nothing's happening. But to me, everything at the minute seems 100%. And I think the due diligence we've done over the last few weeks is there to see. And I don't think there's going to be any issues. Please God, it's good. In regards to broadcast, there's a big broadcaster on board, massive, the world's biggest when it comes to boxing, in my opinion.
When will that be announced?
Thank Jamie Conlon for that. Well, I announced it earlier on, but the name will be announced and they'll have their own artwork and things out. They're saying early next week, so probably Monday, maybe Tuesday, the latest. It's just these are a massive company. They're dealing with the biggest promoters. They had a lot on this week, and then it's the weekend and that. So, I'm sure that people in their offices have to do all this announcing and things. And I'd say it'll be done Monday, maybe Tuesday, but that's why I had to get it out there to let people know there is broadcasting on it and the whole lot. But I'd like to thank Jamie Conlon that. Jamie Conlon has worked hard behind the scenes on getting the broadcast for us. Jamie's like an agent for a lot of the broadcasters, and he deals with a lot of the broadcasting and a lot of the bigger companies, and he does that for people, and he's after doing that for us. He's brought it to the table for us, so I thank him for that, and without him that wouldn't have been possible. So I hope now we can just deliver to the standard that they require, and they may look at it and go, you know what, this is a crowd we want to get behind, and this could become a regular thing.
Is there a sense of calmness, Jay, just even with yourself, where the deposits are paid, stuff's going on the right way? Is there even a sense of calmness, like, okay, everything's going, or is it going too good, if you get me?
Well, that's what I've been saying to everyone in the last couple of days, because my family have been on to me, how's it going? Do you need help? Do you need this? And I'm just going, do you know what? I don't need that. And I said, everything is just going the way it should be going. But like at some stage, this had to happen where things
Yeah.
just went. I'm not looking for things to go better than they should.
Mm.
I've always been looking for things just to go the way they should.
Yeah.
The way things should go. Like
Yeah.
when you agree a fight and you make an agreement and people sign a contract, that's it. That should be done. I don't have to look at you again until I see you on the way in or see you at deposit day and then I see you on the way in or see you as a press conference. That's done. And then the same when I agree opponents. That's why you're saying there about opponents, same opponents. Well, why do you think I use them? Because they don't let me down.
Yeah. Two great
So,
lads. Well, to chat to.
I feel that I booked the right people in and I use the right matchmakers and I use the right people that I can trust. And it's the same with all the staff and everyone on the night. I always book the same people. And so things shouldn't go too good. It should just go to plan. When you book something, it should just go to plan. Yeah. Sadly, in this game, nothing ever does go to plan. I know Paddy McCrory had a nightmare this morning because a flight got cancelled and 6 of his journeymen couldn't get in this morning.
Ow.
You know, I was on the phone to Paddy straight away to see if anything I could do to help and to get him a bit of advice on what I would do if I was in that situation. And luckily enough, he's got it all sorted and his stress levels now be released. But that's the game we're in. Everything is going according to plan. Everything's going the way it should be going. And if everything just can keep going the way it should be going between now and next week, Irish boxing is going to change.
Like, next week is probably the biggest week in Irish boxing in a long time. Would you agree with that statement?
Look, we've had some big cards. The Waterford card at Christmas was a great card. It was brilliant. On that card, there was 2 domestics.
Yeah.
And the 2 domestic fights stole the show. But there was other great fights on the card, you know, between there was a Kazakh and there was other people on the bus.
The 2 Mexicans, the Mexican shootout was class.
Yeah, but the Irish public weren't really interested in that.
Yeah.
You know, the Irish public aren't really interested in that. Boxing fans, yes, but the casual fan that was in the arena that night wouldn't have been really interested in that fight. The Katie Taylor cards, fantastic cards, outstanding cards. Yeah. I was at them, right? But again, there wasn't a lot of domestics on it. So, you know, those fights on it, people weren't really interested in because, don't really know that lad, not really interested, you know? They're not 50-50s. I feel this is the first domestic small hall show in donkey's years that has the amount of 50-50s we have. And there's 5 50-50s on the card.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I think for Irish boxing, for Irish domestic boxing, I think this is huge. Because Katie Taylor will always fill an arena.
Yeah.
You know, she will always fill an arena.
Yeah. No matter what.
These younger lads coming out, like our biggest ticket seller on this card is 120 tickets.
Can you say that is?
Ticket sellers. There's 2, so no, we'll just leave it.
Okay, no problem.
But that's the thing. There's two people selling 120 tickets each, and that's it. That's the biggest ticket sellers on the card.
Okay.
Irish boxers don't tend to have big ticket sellers. Big ticket sellers. So that's why I had to build cards like this, because if you can put 2 lads in against each other and both of them can do 80 to 100 tickets, now that fight's doing 200 tickets.
Yeah.
You know, rather than one fighter doing 70 or 80 tickets and you do 10 of them, you only have 700 people. So you need to have these fights for that reason.
I'm just thinking, even like when these lads, their names get shown on TV, like their ticket sales and their growth will only go up. So in a way, Jay, you're not only helping them with, you know, like getting their career, like, you know, on a good track and getting them where they want to be. You're helping them with the growth. You're helping them with selling more tickets, the names getting out there. So it's really a win-win situation, Jay.
Yeah, you can't lose.
Yeah.
Like we could have just done our usual pay-per-view link, and we've got Owen Evans coming from the west. You've got Stephen Cairns coming from down in Cork. You've got Cathal Crowley from down that direction. You've David Kennedy. You've Paul Loon. You've Miles Casey. You've lads some spread all over the country.
Yeah.
And you would have sold a clatter of pay-per-view links. You probably would have sold 300-400. So you would have made 3 or 4 grand.
Yeah.
On a pay-per-view link. And you don't make that out of the broadcaster. But what you're doing with the broadcaster is you're putting the world's eyes on our promotion and on our event. And not only on us, Irish boxing.
That's the best thing to hear.
You know, you have the English, you have the Americans, all of the 2 paddies killing each other. You know, and
but it'll be blowing up now on Saturday night, JB. Responsible for Twitter blowing up.
But that's what you want. That's why I said to you, we need 1 or 2 moments that catch the public eye on the Zone or Sky or Pro Box or whatever it is we have, and that's when it will go bang, and then people will go, oh yeah, I want to see more of that, and then please God, the broadcaster will buy into it and say, yeah, you know what, let's make this a regular thing, and that's when Irish boxing then will step up to the next level. Like
when everything goes, hopefully to plan, please God, will you be looking for maybe like a deal? Let's say maybe just to throw the question out to just an if.
Well, everybody's looking for deals.
Yeah.
You know, deals aren't easily given out. But again, it's what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
It's like every business. If you bring value to the table, well, then there's value in your conversations. So
Mm.
for now, I've always said from day one, to me, it's not about money. Obviously, I want to make something.
Yeah.
You know, I want to break even, make a few bob, and this this is the start of it, I believe. I think this is the doors open for us. I think this will happen. I think people see this. I think the boxers will see it and go, yeah, I want to be a part of this. So they'll all want to be on the shows. And then it's when you go to and say, look, if you're going to be on the show, you're going to have to cover this amount of tickets. You know, we can't have an empty arena. That's why I've done this show. And everyone was, yeah, no problem. I said, look, to secure your position on the show, we need deposits in 10 days out because I'm not taking a gamble that you're going to rock up on the day of a weigh-in or you're going to pull out because the tickets or sales are short, blah, blah, blah. So that has to come in. And none of them fell short, you know. They all paid the deposits. They're all ready to go. They're all happy. They're all in good frames of mind. They're all now, at this stage, a week out, they're all getting ready to send entrance musics in to the DJ and things like that.
That's when it
So,
gets exciting.
yeah, it starts getting thing now. My plan now is I just sit down and put the schedule together of the night and how it all goes and how it all pans out. And we've a press conference, then we've a weigh in. So, you know, next week is a short week for them.
Mm. When can you sit back as a promoter, Jamie, like just breathe, literally just breathe and be like, right, we've done that, and then the next move comes when you think of it.
To be honest, I never really sit down. I sit down in the shows, but I'm up and I'm down and I'm up and I'm
Yeah.
down. You know, I'm hoping for this show next week. I have a lot of guests coming.
Any names?
A lot of guests coming. No, I have a VIP. Well, I have a VIP section in around, and I've work colleagues are coming, and I've
That's
family
great.
coming, and things like that. I'm invited to the likes of Andy Lee and Mick Conlon and
Mm.
Jason Quigley. I think
The
Jason's
Irish
away
boxing
though.
lads, yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, of course,
yeah,
because again, that's what we want, and I
yeah.
know the likes of Ben Williams and that are coming as well, and
Mm.
Deck Kennan. There's a lot of them lads coming, but it's. I just want to be able to sit down and relax and enjoy it. But again, I've Glenn on that night, so my nerves are going to be at me. I'm going to be sitting there relaxing watching the show, and then I'm going to have to go into the back and become a coach, and then I'm in the ring with him and as a coach, and then when that fight's over, to go back and sit down, and
Yeah.
so I never really
Up,
enjoy the
down, up,
nights
down, up, down,
because
Jay.
yeah, I never really enjoy the nights, and then you've got people wanting interviews and the people wanting stuff done and that. So look, it's not about me.
Mm.
It's not about me. I'll only be a promoter, a full time promoter when Glenn retires, because he's going to be on 90% of my shows. So nearly all
Yeah.
the shows I'm going to be running, he's going to be boxing on. So I'm a coach
Mm.
as well as a promoter on the night, and that's just the way it is. But
Mm.
I love it.
I'm looking at the box rep here. Carl Crowley against Jordan Granham. Would that be 4 ounce? There's a question mark just over here. Is it 4 ounce?
Six,
6 ounce. Okay.
six,
Okay.
6 rounds. Yeah, and look at Jordan was the fight. Dean Walsh. Dean Walsh got an injury. Jordan just
Hopefully
said,
he's
"Look, is there
okay
anyone
still.
else in the?" Yeah, Jordan just says, "Anyone else in the card?" I said, "No." I said, "I've only caught Crowley at 170." And he says, "Oh, it's probably a bit big because I was going to do 158 at for this fight, or 156 and a half, 157 or 158 for this fight." I said, "Look, it's up to yourself. If you want it, you can have it." He says, "I have boxed at that weight," and he says, "Oh, look, you know what? Yeah, I'll take it." So I just put it across the Pascal and his team, and they just thumbs it up and says, "Yeah, no problem." So we booked in Cottle and Jordan. So yeah, good fight. I like Jordan. Jordan's a good guy. Cottle seems a really nice kid as well.
Just like to just quickly, Oisin Tracy, Keen Reddy, Podge, Boyo, David Kennedy, Glenn Lynch, Owen Lavin. All great to see you on the card, and lads that are up and coming.
Yeah, again, the future. And again, if things go the way they went last year, and we can continue running out shows in the whole lot, all them young lads that are only beginning and are only 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, they'll be in the position that the lads on this show are in next year, and the lads that are in the positions on this show now, the winners and things, not only just the winners, but sometimes hopefully this time next year we'll be doing a show and there could be European titles and things on it.
Yeah.
And them lads can be fighting for the Irish and the Celtic titles.
Mm.
That's what it's all about.
Jay, finally, 3 singular words that we can hopefully see on the Jay Byrne Show, Night of Champions, April 12th, the National Stadium. 3 singular words we can expect to see from the show.
Uh, Carnage,
Okay.
mayhem, and champions.
I like that. Jay, on that note, thank you so much for joining us here at IrishBoxing.com. April 12th, people, the National Stadium, Night of Champions, Jay Byrne Promotions, a stack card. If you're not there, a pay-per-view link, or, well, sorry, something will be
It
sent.
will be live. It will be live on the
Right.
television.
I'm so used to saying pay-per-view link. It will be live on television. Announcement to come soon. The weigh-ins and the press conference are open to the public, Jay?
Yes, we
Yes.
want as
So
many people as possible there.
Exactly. Get down, lads. Get your tickets if you haven't already. The 40, 50 tickets if you're watching this. Get the tickets. Watch it. It's going to be a great night of Irish boxing. On behalf of Jay Byrne, thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt.